Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our podcast today. We're going to be interviewing Merrit Woodward from the University of Rochester. Say hello, Woody.
Hello, Woody.
I also have Kim Thoman, our business analyst, with us today. And let's jump in and get started. Today we'll be talking a little bit about Route4Me. Woody has been a customer of ours since 2015 on the Geotab platform, and very recently he deployed Route4Me to meet his routing needs. Woody, what was it that got you started thinking about routing and thinking that you needed some kind of an application to help you with that?
So even pre-COVID, we were doing some on-demand deliveries that made our lives a little bit more difficult as far as being able to plan our actual routes every single day. While Geotab and everything that they have worked out great in the beginning, we used it to its full potential, and we're able to route each one of our drivers based on geographic areas that we needed them to go to, and it's been a great tool right from the beginning. So a little intensive on the front end, but we were able to get through it and actually make sure my drivers got the most out of every day.
Great. And so let me ask you then, so what did your process look like before you had implemented not only just the GPS portion of it, but a routing solution that coincides with that?
Pre everything?
Yeah.
That was paper and dreams.
I can imagine that would be a huge challenge.
It was literally paper and dreams. We had nothing other than the fact that we hoped that our driver knew where he was going.
So now that you have implemented the Route4Me solution, has it made a big impact on the way that your daily operations work today?
Ridiculous impact, actually. Yeah, we've increased our on-demand deliveries, and this is partially due to COVID, but nothing that's going to stop when COVID stops. Everyone's crossing their fingers right now. This is never going to go away. So my pre-2015 on-demand deliveries were probably between 8 and 10 a day. When I first brought on Geotab, I could implement an increase to 20 to 30 a day without me having to do much. And just to give you a good example, today I had 148, and I consider that a light day.
Wow. Yes. That sounds like a huge improvement in your productivity and being able to get more stops in and a lot more happy customers.
Yeah, ridiculous on every level, actually.
That's great. So while we're talking about it, would you mind showing us a little bit about how you use the Route4Me tool on a daily basis?
Okay, so this is today's Route4Me. This is the address book map. So actually I came here, went to address book map, and I'll just let it pop back up for us for a second because it'll reload. Hopefully my counterparts are not removing everything on me right now, which they're not, so that's good. And that's what my new schedule looks like for today. You see a couple of the spots outside. Every one of these areas is a current delivery area for one of my drivers. It also has certain impacts on what they would actually deliver during the day. So this large one down here, he actually makes the longest leap, and he comes all the way down into Dansville every day. Wow. So, yeah, so that's his, and then he picks up anything in this area afterwards on his way back in. So that helps us out a little bit. And, so that's actually one of our smaller routes. You can see we can actually get larger ones like this one up here. He had 31 on-demand deliveries today for himself, and tomorrow that will jump to probably 45 to 50. So, and I'm able to handle this all really based on this software. Beforehand, it was with Geotab, there was a 25 max. So for me to import and then give someone more than 25 was actually very difficult because I would have to split routes and try to figure out what to do with them from there, whether they stayed with the same driver or not. Now with this, I can actually move forward. So this is just our planned routes also. So this is just what's planned. Anything that comes in tonight, we actually import all of this information from an Excel sheet and put all of these in. So if I literally click on one of them, which I don't know if I can actually do, but you can actually see how it's got a name and it's got an address attached to it right there.
Absolutely.
Without me going into huge detail. So that's information that was provided by the customer tonight. Tomorrow I will actually get more. So, and you can still see my map, I hope. I've just changed to what the routes look like today.
Yep, we're still following you.
So, wow.
Yep, so that did jump up to 148. It was probably 117 that we imported, and then I got another, again, something I was never able to do was just be able to add them in afterwards on the fly. This automatically updates for the drivers also, which is insanely nice. The little quirky things that we got from Geotab don't happen on this system as much, so it's more address based. It actually zeroes in on the address a little bit better than Geotab does. So if you're going to Main Street, sometimes you could end up 3 blocks away from the address you were on because it already recognized you were on Main Street. Now that doesn't happen anymore, so it's the geocoding is fantastic.
How much time would you say you spent to create these routes that we're looking at now?
Everything I have on here, so the original ones, these routes, and I'm going to go backwards a little bit. So these routes that you see right here probably take me on average, if I massage one, it's going to take me 5 to 6 minutes to import it. This route here, back before Route4Me, was at least a half hour to 45 minutes worth of work.
Wow.
And the only reason is because inside of that route there's a bunch of time stops that I would have to massage into however many, so his other 18 deliveries that he'd made today. Even this little one over here was the same way. That Val's route here has 3 or 4 time stops in here that I add in after the fact that cause more problems. So even that little route still would have taken me at least 20 minutes to figure out.
Well, that frees you up for an opportunity to get a whole lot more regular work done other than having to deal with this. And hopefully, there's only one of you. So now you're a little bit more available to work on some other areas that could be affecting, and we can help, possibly make you more productive in.
Yes, absolutely. And it's all the little things too. It's like, so I just moved down. This is my route list for today. You'll notice that these two here are actually for tomorrow for 416, and they are actually duplicated routes that show up. Well, it says so right here. Canandaigua, Geneva actually happens every single day. This is actually set up Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and this one is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday because the route changes slightly. These are static routes that go in every morning, and they pre-populate the day before, so I don't have to worry about remaking the routes all the time, and it automatically shows up every day, which is another huge tool, because while you could make as many routes as you wanted in straight Geotab, you would also have to remember to import them or turn them on for any given day.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we and Geotab with the marketplace is it's very valuable to have, because we can't be experts in everything. Some people are extremely good at routing. We're really good at fleet management. But when you combine the two, it gives you this great tool where you only have to go to a one-stop shop to get all of your busy needs done and get everybody planned for the day. So it's amazing to hear how many more stops you got out of a day and how much more, of that ad hoc business that you're able to add on a daily basis for your customers.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We're actually looking to be able to take on the AM and PM deliveries pretty soon. This is just based on a day-to-day when, we're hoping to take that over for at least 3 of my regular clients, hopefully before summer fully hits.
And just for kind of just a general explanation, Woody is with the University of Rochester, and they are out delivering pharmaceutical supplies to all of the hospitals in the area. So he's one division of the education university. Just to let everybody kind of have an idea of what he's using these routes for. So if you're a delivery fleet or a service fleet, this is really something that you could definitely take advantage of. And as he mentioned, you could do it with planned routes, or you can have unplanned routes that you can do on the fly during the day if need be. So if you get those one-off calls, this is a tool that would be able to help you work that into an existing schedule.
One of the unusual things that Woody deals with is having some very tight time windows to make some of the deliveries with the chemotherapy drugs. Is that correct, Woody?
Yes, it is.
Can you explain a little bit more what the difficulties are there and how we have approached that?
Sure. So, and that's, that's definitely something we continue to work on. So my favorite part about this system right now is the fact that this, which I had no idea when we first purchased the software, was this approved to execute. So these two routes tomorrow morning, I'm going to go like that because it doesn't matter how many I turn on. So now I've just hit approve to execute on those. What that's going to do now is those two routes tomorrow morning will send messages to the pharmacists that their deliveries have been made and what time they were made at. It's ridiculously helpful for them to know that the compounding center didn't send out a drug that was 3 to 4 hours old and they only have 15 minutes left to use it. And the pharmacist also on the compounding end wants to know that we actually got their chemotherapy drug there on time. So you'll see weird little things in here that also speak to that. This driver actually, that S is a start right there. I started him out there only because his route has to happen after that. And I do it for the long-term ones in general. So the same thing here. His route starts there because I need him to work his way back. That's just one of the little tricks I learned on Route4Me on how to do it. They're actually starting up here and picking up compound from the compounding center, but I want them to go directly there first. So that's where their begin, and then they deliver on their way back from those places. So it's kind of entertaining, Yeah. It took me a minute to figure that out, but it was, it was a smart way around it, and it just, time windows work, and they work well, actually. It's just, as you can see, I don't exactly have a half-hour buffer in there anywhere where I can just say sit and wait for a half an hour before you can get into one of these places. So that was a smart workaround.
Great. I'm glad that that was able to be solved for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had to guesstimate, just by increasing those the productivity and the amount of trips and deliveries, would you be able to put a kind of a dollar figure towards the bottom line of how that's helped you guys improve operations?
Revenue's been, without getting into direct numbers, revenue has been ridiculous. We're a nonprofit, so we're just looking to cover our costs, but we're also looking to save the university money as a whole. So on that end, I can, yes, I can tell you that on any given week, we're saving at least $2,000 a week on outside money. We actually call it green money because it's actually green money. Anything spent outside of the university is green money. Anything out inside the university is called blue money. So you want to spend blue money before green money, and the blue money is cheaper than real money. So
that's interesting.
They like that part. Yeah, they like that. They like that part. But yes, so it is close to $2,000 a week, and that's not including myself or my other supervisors' time that we've saved just moving to this over the last couple months, which I have not done a number based on yet, only because it's been about 3 months now. And once I do, I will definitely share that with Lynn, and we can laugh about it later.
Oh, that's
Okay.
fantastic.
I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
If something happened and they told you we were going to have to take this away from you, Woody, what would your response be?
Yeah, I would laugh at you first because there's no way, unless something blows up somewhere, because there's just we couldn't do what we're doing today without this, at least not to the same potential. So, I mean, I would need to increase my hours by at least 2 hours a day to be able to do what I do right now. And like I said, it's just continues to grow. It's ridiculous. So, we would actually have to stifle a few of our customers if that were to happen.
Yeah, and that's completely understandable. I mean, once you get the hang of it, nobody wants to go back the old days. And when you talk about all of the revenue benefits that you can take advantage of, and then you consider the fact that the monthly cost for the Route4Me is reasonable, and the GPS, especially over the years, is extremely easy to achieve. Sounds like you paid for the solution for an entire month for the fleet in about a week, and that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's not quite that long either. But I'll leave that number alone. It might be closer to a day and a half.
Wow.
Wow.
And that's for real. Yeah, it might be a day and a half, might even be a day. I mean, again, that's being a little extravagant. There's a couple days that have actually paid for it straight out. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, and it's funny because my business has grown in tandem with as we've gained access to new and different things, and mostly thanks to Lynn. I mean, every tool that I've gotten, has been thanks to her. I'm glad we started this relationship, and it's really worked out for both the U of R and I hope for you guys.
You're on my list to show Intelligent Zones next.
Oh boy.
And the good news is that one's free.
Nice. Thank you.
It seemed to me like it was time to get a freebie going your way.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Woody, is there anything else that you wanted to share with us that you think is
Nope,
really cool?
I'm just typing in right now, and I figured I'd just show you how easy this stuff can get sometimes, because it really is just that easy. We'll do something that I know. It's fun typing when I've got stuff in my ear. I just love how easy this part is. So this is insert. So this is going to insert into the best address right there. So, and at first I was, it's hysterical. You laugh at yourself a lot. I got annoyed by this at first, and it actually gets smarter as it goes. So it's looking at the best possible route. That's about the average time it takes. So, and it tells you right there. He was actually already going there.
So these are suggestions on.
This is suggestions. So every day. Okay. Yeah. So every day when I go in here and I get my ad hocs from 8:30 in the morning until 9:30 in the morning, and they bury me with them. I think my worst day ever was I got 46 within that hour. Ooh. I can literally copy and paste each one of those off of my email and say, here, okay, you need something to go 100 Gibb Street? No problem. I hit this, proceed, and it just assigned it to Hugh, and it put it in the optimal position.
That's awesome.
It's hard to see inside of this right now, but Hugh was orange, and now there'll be two numbers for Hugh. Let's see if I can find Hugh. There he is. And you can see it actually backed up right there. There's the new one that I just put in.
Wow.
But, yeah, and like I said, I laughed because at first I'm like, wow, this takes way too long until you realize what it's doing. It's actually looking for the best possible place to put it, and then it actually puts it there. So each one of these routes has, and it's kind of funny, you can tell anything that's a check mark is one I just put in. Anything with the 5-minute mark on it is something that was put in the night before. So just so you know, that's how that works. And that's how it, so anything, because with the check marks, I'm just putting it in ad hoc for real. Mm-hmm. There was no planning whatsoever. And there's tons of those in there.
Yeah, one route looks like that's all it was.
And it's really, yeah, it's not. It just, it just
There's just so
expands
many
out. Some of them are
stops.
just straight. Yep. And then you can see some of them were
Yeah.
duplicates and not duplicates. And yeah. So, and it's fun. And I'm dealing with, upwards of 8 to 9 customers who are using us to do this. So that works out really good too.
Awesome. Well,
Yep.
thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of being able to see how this is working in a real life situation instead of theoretically, which is, when we are talking with people about routing, we're talking very theoretically because we don't have anybody to route. We drive desks over here. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today, Woody. Kim, I thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. And I want to
Thank you.
thank everyone who has watched.
And if anybody would like more information, please don't hesitate to reach out to us or go to www.pletistics.com and you can request more information from there as well.
Yep.